Hello and welcome. This is Cheryl. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today I'm going to share a light up birthday card using the Fountain Wishes die set as well as the coordinating sentiments press plate and die set. I'm going to use this candlelight from Pear Blossom Press. I haven't used one before, so I'm super excited to do this. I've been looking for the right die set with a candle, and this was the one for me. I'm also going to use this Tattered Stripes stencil set. There's two different layers to it to create my background. This is the color palette that I'm going to be using from the DIY color deck. I just thought it was really fun for a birthday card as well as that ice cream sundae. So I've already done a video with the Happier Hour collection that had the Fountain Wishes die set as well as the sentiment set with it. I'll link to it at the end. There's another light up card at the end of that video if you want to see it done in a different way with a different set from that collection. But we're going to start off with doing our background. So I have some Hammermill Cardstock on my sticky mat here. I'm using some scattered straw distressing for both layers of the stripes, but I want to add a little bit of shimmer and shine to that background. So I did that first layer with the large blending brush, wiped off the excess off my stencil, and now I'm using the Lisa Horton Natural Pearl pad. This is a new pad. It's part of a trio set that I absolutely love. This pearl one has become my favorite. On light colors, you don't see the white part of the pearl. You see mostly just the shimmer, and it doesn't really show up well on video. But when you're using it on darker colored cardstocks, it shows up as a white pearl, which is really, really cool. I use this in my November Clubs video as well, so you can see it on a couple of the embossed backgrounds there as well. For the next layer, once again, I'm using that same scattered straw, doing the ink blending. You can see I'm doing it really, really quickly. I'm not making sure all of my layers are even. If I wanted an even color, I would use solid cardstock. Personally, when I'm doing ink blending, I try to make some areas lighter, some areas darker. I think it just looks more visually interesting that way, and it suits this Tattered Stripes background. So for this second layer, I'm going to add some glitter to it using some Dust Stickles glitter gel. I want to avoid getting as much as possible on that sticky mat because the glitter doesn't like to clean up off of it. So I use some scrap paper on the two sides of my stencil to protect it. Then I'm using a palette knife to spread out that Dust Stickles glitter gel as evenly as possible. When it comes to the bottom of the stencil, you can see I'm going to flip the palette knife over so that I don't get it over the edge of that stencil. Once again, I'm trying as much as possible to get very little on that sticky mat because, again, it doesn't really want to clean off the sticky mat. It will, the glue part of it will, but the little bits of glitter just really like to stick to it. So once I have this done here, you can see there's a little bit of ink color in the rest of that Dust Stickles gel that is on my palette knife. That's why I didn't put the rest back in the container because it's going to contaminate that container. So I'm going to clean that off my palette knife as well as clean up my stencil. You want to clean it up while it's nice and wet. That way you're not going to accidentally damage your stencil using elbow grease to try to get it off. So I always do that right away after I've done that stenciling. For some of the die cut pieces that I've created for the design, I'm also going to add a little bit of that natural pearl ink on top of it. You can see on the darker colors, you see more of a white haze with it. On the lighter colors, you don't see it, but it's just going to add a really beautiful shimmer that's going to give different textures between the cardstock and the ones that have the shimmer or the natural pearl ink blending on them. So for the glass for my sundae, I just did it on above or on the top of the glass, just for a little bit of difference between the top and the bottom. So I did all my die cutting off screen. I have some Dahlia cardstock here. The lighter pink is Bellini cardstock. Then my darker brown here is Acorn cardstock, and that lighter brown is Fawn cardstock. So I wanted to have kind of a strawberry sundae with some chocolate sauce and some different elements to it. So that's one of the reasons why I chose this color palette. And I thought that yellow, even though yellow is my least favorite color, I just thought it added a really bright, fun background to this card. I also have a little bit of yellow for the bird's beak that goes with this die set. So I'm layering those pieces together, and Spellbinders die sets are really easy to layer together because when you do your die cutting, it puts little impressions on the different areas, showing you exactly where the upper layer of die cuts go. Now, in my first video where I used this set, I actually put it together wrong. I put the background pieces together first, and then I put my glass piece, the outline piece, over top of it. And I didn't realize it until my video was done, the voiceover was done, everything was posted, and it wasn't until the day it went live, I looked at one of the pictures and I'm like, that just looks wrong. So if you look at the top of the card, on top of the glass, you can see the back rim of that glass. No one noticed it, no one commented that they noticed that anyways, but I just wanted to recognize that, yes, I did it wrong, but it was, by the time I realized it was beyond time to fix it. So I have my different layers here putting together. I have a little straw. I have that little wafer piece as well as the cherry. And I'm also doing the little bird here. Now the sentiments that I'm using are ones that were previously foiled from that previous video. So the sentiment I'm going to put on the front of the card says, a little bird told me you had a birthday, which I thought worked perfectly for the Sunday with the candle as well as the bird. And the foiled sentiment I'm going to put on the inside says, have the happiest day. So I thought those two went really, really well together. That foil, once again, is going to add just a little bit of extra texture to the card as well. And I always love foiled sentiments because they just have a really nice, neat, pristine look. So they're foiled with prism foil, which is a silver that has a holographic shine to it. So it's going to work well with all these colored cardstocks. The white outline is going to coordinate with the card base, and the sentiment is really going to stick out from that card. For the sentiment for the inside of the card, I'll do a little bit of ink blending to that one to blend it into the piece, or to make it coordinate with the front of the card. So after my sundae has sat and dried for a few moments, I can glue on the candle as well as a little wafer behind it, as well as that cherry. I use an acrylic block to hold things nice and flat while they're drying. That way I have my hands free to work on other things, and I can see if anything is shifted while I've put it on there. To add just a touch more texture, I'm going to add some stickles here. This is Stardust Stickles, so there's no color to it. It just has an opalescent glitter. You'll see the cardstock underneath there. It's just going to add some sparkle. I did that to the candle as well as the little bit of ice cream, the border of it, and the streamers on the hat. Then I'm putting some glossy accents on the cherry as well as the little chocolate sauce on top of the sundae, and then also in the bird's pupil, the bird's eye, to give that some glossy shine. So I'll let that completely dry. I ended up letting it dry for probably about an hour because I had to wait for my Stardust or my Moon Dust Stickles glitter gel to dry anyways. But now that everything is completely dry, we're ready to start assembling our card and set up that birthday candle or that candle light contraption. So I have some Acorn Cardstock here that's going to be the mat around my striped piece. That is trimmed to 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. This striped piece here is being trimmed to 3 3/4 inches by 5 inches. I just love the way it looks at the end. It just has such a fun, whimsical look to it. So I'm lining up everything together, and what I'm doing it for is I want to place the little candle flame die above that candle. So this is going to be a hole in that striped pattern piece or a stenciled piece that is going to let the light from that candle light mechanism shine through. So I die cut that. I did make sure to tape it in place with some Best Ever Craft tape, and then I can take that die cut out as well as the die. Here is that candle light. It comes with a battery, and that battery has a plus sign on it. When you look at this space that battery slides into, there's a plus sign on there. So you slide those to meet each other, and here is your candle thing. Now the cool thing is you press the button to turn this on, but the only way to turn it off is blowing it. So I thought it was perfect for this candle for on top of here. There is a stamp set that Pear Blossom Press makes that has different little instructions. So I'm going to be using the one that says push, and I'm going to be using the one that says blow. Now I thought I was going to mute that color or that light a little bit with some vellum. However, what I didn't think about was the fact that if that is covered with vellum, the air isn't going to go through to blow it. So I left that in there to make sure that if you do the same thing as I did, you can't put vellum there because that air isn't going to reach that little mechanism in order to blow it out. So I will be taking that piece off in just a minute when I realize it. I hadn't realized it yet. So I have my sundae here. I'm putting that little piece on top of there. I want to position my push stamp. First I had the one that said press, but it was just a little bit too wide for where I wanted it to stamp. So then I put that one back and took the word push. That one fit where I needed it to go. And I always use the actual contraption to make sure that I have these things positioned in the proper spot. Best to check it out 2, 3, 4, 5 times and make sure everything's right, then realize at the end that you positioned it wrong. I stamped that with some frayed burlap distress ink using my Misty stamping tool. That way I can stamp it multiple times and make sure that I have a nice clean stamping. Then I'm taking the one that says blow and I'm putting that right above where the flame for that candle is going to go. I'm going to stamp that a couple times. When I'm stamping it, I'm not trying to make sure it's really, really dark. I want it to be fairly subtle. I want the main impression of the card to be the die cut, the image, and I want the blow and the press or the blow and the push to kind of be a secondary something that gets noticed. So with that done, I can start assembling this. So I'm using some 1/4 inch score tape here. I'm going to put it right on top of that little piece for the battery pack. I tilt it over to make sure that the light is how I want it to be or as high as I want it to be. This is the point where I tried to blow it out and realized that it was not going to work. So I took that vellum off of there. Again, left it in here so that it was a reminder to you that you can't do that. And sometimes we all have moments in our crafting where we're just not really thinking. So I have some thin foam tape strips here that I'm going to be using. You need to put foam on the back of this to make way for that mechanism as well as the battery. It's got some thickness to it, so you can't just glue this flat. Otherwise, you'd have a big hump in the middle of your card. So this is narrower than I would normally use, and it's also thinner. So I need to do 2 layers in order to accommodate for that battery pack and make sure that it has enough space to it. So I put each layer down, take the backing off, and then put another layer right on top of it. I'm going to put it around all 4 edges, but I'm also going to put some right in the center, right beside that mechanism as well, to make sure that the inside part is raised as well. Just give it a little bit of extra support. So once all of this tape is down, we can put this onto our mat, onto our acorn mat that we trimmed down, and then that can get glued onto the card base. So here we have that tape on there. So now we can take the backing off of all of those pieces there. And when we're doing this, you want to make sure that you don't have any of that tape going in front of that hole for the candlelight. So I made sure to avoid that completely. I also like to have it fairly close to the edges of the card or edges of the image piece so that all of that has some support to it. So you will need to get fairly close or above it in order to make sure that that is on there nice and even. Now we can glue this to the card base. The liquid glue I'm using is Barely Art glue. I have it in a nice fine bottle here. It's something that I use for gluing everything together, pretty much everything. Obviously, I use score tape every once in a while, but I like the fact that you can wiggle and move and shimmy things in place, and then it is stuck and it's good to go. It also lasts a long time. And by having it in a fine line bottle, I can easily put those die cuts together like I did earlier in this video, as well as assembling the card. It works perfectly for both. So I glued that sundae down, making sure the candle was right below the opening. Then I glued the bird down to the left of my little ice cream sundae glass. Next, I want to put my sentiment down, but because there are many layers on that die cut, it's not going to lay evenly. So I put a little bit of that foam tape on the right side of the sentiment to give it a little bit of extra support, then glued the left side so that that would glue right to that sundae. So the inside sentiment, I'm using that scattered straw distress pad to ink that. So when we open the card, it's going to be very visible. It's also going to coordinate with the background from the front of the card. So again, use that Barely Art glue to glue that in place. Now, the cool thing about the stamp set from Pear Blossom Press that says press and pull and blow is there is a light bulb that says handmade card or handmade for you. And just because it's there, I like to stamp it on the back of the cards that I create using those Pear Blossom Press lights. I think it's just adorable. I also think it would be adorable if it said light up card or something like that. I think that would be fun as well. So I stamped that with that same frayed burlap distress ink, and now my card is totally done. This is just such a fun birthday card. I love the uniqueness and the distressed kind of look of that background with not only the stripes that are uneven, but the different finishes. Then we have our sundae with the different textures on top of it with the glossy accents and stickles. And then our card or our candle light, which I have to say, it's really hard to stop playing with it. I kept pressing it and then blowing it out. Then I showed one of my daughters and she thought it was absolutely magic. She couldn't figure out how in the world it worked. So it's a great one for a conversation either as well, to try to figure out how in the world that works. But I'll tell you, you won't want to stop playing with it once you start making them with the light up Pear Blossom Press batter or lights. There are just so many different variations of them, and they're just so much fun to create with. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate all the time that you spend with me. I hope you have a fantastic day.